Gary.
Andrew.
Loving the shirt tonight, Gary.
Like it? I'm going on my holidays, Andy.
Oh my goodness, it's Club Tropicana over at your place.
Drinks are free. Fun and sunshine.
Oh, fantastic. So is that your and you've got the glasses to go with it?
Ready to go. Ready to go. And sadly though, Andy.
Galmac.
This is the direction we're going. We're going on holiday.
We're going on holiday, folks. It is the last chat show tonight. The end of Series 1.
Series 1, Andy. Who'd have thought that on the whatever of May 2020 we'd have been 61 shows in and actually having the opportunity to meet so many wonderful people.
It's been amazing. Now, Gary,
yeah,
I don't know if it's the sunglasses. I don't know if it's the shirt that you've got on, but I'm getting a wee bit of lag from your internet. So, folks that are watching remotely, tell us about Gary's feed. Is he a little bit kind of stuttery, or is he? Oh, he looks like he's frozen altogether. Oh no, you're back now, Gary.
Am I okay?
I don't know. I'm waiting for somebody else to tell us.
Folks, I hope it's all right. I hope it's okay. Look what's happened, Andy.
Go on.
There you go. That's really nice of Elizabeth, and good to see you tuning in from Chicago. Out of almost 61 weeks, Elizabeth had 1 week of work. And whatever happened, Elizabeth, I hope it's okay. But you're very welcome on the show. We love having you here, and we love having you here on the show.
Absolutely. Well, listen, George has updated us. You're streaming absolutely fine on YouTube, Gary. So it's great that it's.
Yeah.
It's working.
He's fine for me. Hey, there you go. So we're on our holidays. We're having a break. Show 61. Last week, show 60 was the penultimate show, Andy. If you want to pick a word, we learned what that meant throughout the duration of the show. And
we did.
Isn't it stunning that we've all these people we've met, not just down the side. I mean, they're all friends now. All these people that tune in.
They are.
And come in and say hello to us every week. Unbelievable. Yeah. We've met so many fantastic, wonderful.
It's been absolutely brilliant. Everyone has been so supportive of the chat show, and of course, with tonight being the final one, and we had a year anniversary, and we did a recap, a look back not so long ago. But tonight is actually an opportunity for you, the viewer, to come on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post up a wee link, right? So there it is there. So all you need to do is click that link and you will join us in the virtual studio. I know some of you have been on before, so you know how it works. But we would like you to be joined. So we don't have any guests tonight because, as we've said, the guests make the show. And one thing that also makes the show is everybody that tunes in, watches and comments. So it's your chance tonight to join us on the chat show. And you can come in and say whatever you want. You can have a wee blather. You can ask us questions. You can plug whatever it is that you're trying to do yourself. But the link is there. And if you fancy coming on the show, just click the link and in you come.
And if you don't and nobody comes on, I don't know if me and you will have enough to talk about, Andy.
Gary, we might underrun the overrun.
Now, wouldn't it be something if we finished on the 61st show on minute 59?
Oh, wow. Yes.
Wow.
Finishing early tonight, Gary. It might be I might get my tea at a sensible time. Well, not my cup of tea, but my tea, my dinner.
Have you been told? Get up the road for the fajitas.
Usually it's kind of 10 o'clock tea time by the time that we kind of after the after show party, of course, Gary. By the time that we.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm ready for that, Andy. I've got my Club Tropicana gear on. I've got my shades ready to go overseas.
Flip flops, Gary. Any flip flops there?
Excuse me.
Have you got your flip flops on?
Yes, I have actually. I have.
Oh, and
don't mention Speedos.
And no mention of Speedos, Gary. I've seen the Borat movie. Don't want to go there. But speaking of which, I notice your balloons have been relocated.
I've done a wee bit of refurbishment in the pandemic shelter. Moved some things about, put some different stuff up. Just try to get myself in order for my holiday, Andy.
Oh, looking forward to it. So, Gary, hopefully we'll be joined with some folk in the studio here tonight, but I just want to rewind it all the way back because we're going to weave in things that have caught your eye and various other videos and various other bits and pieces. But I just want to wind it all back. How did all this start, Gary, for us?
Are we back at the very start?
Well, aye.
I think you twisted my arm and says, "Come on, we'll do something online." And I went, "No." I'm not having any of that. Oh, just an hour. I says, no. And then you said, what about half an hour? And then we compromised in 45 minutes.
Aye.
You were pressing all the buttons. We had a brilliant first show with the Provost and Caroline. And we had a kind of idea. Well, you had a kind of idea what you were doing. I didn't have a clue what was going on.
You've been trained on the job, Gary. You've done those spot mic modules.
I've been, and it overran to an hour. And then as time went by, bit by bit, gradually we got a wee bit more used to it. I get trained. I became a bit more familiar with the tech, and the guests just stacked up, Andy, and they were every single one of them a joy to behold.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Gary, that was the technical bits of how it all started, but why did it start from our point of view? What's our motivation, Gary? Because that's really important that folk understand what our motivation in doing what we do, Gary, is.
I thought of that a lot, Andy, and I remember when we presented up at the uni, and I asked the question of myself, why am I doing this?
Yep.
Why do I do this?
Yep.
Paisley Community Trust and all the things related to Paisley that me and you are involved in, and of course other people involved in, but personal motivation for me, particularly with the idea of trying to bring cinema to Paisley Town Centre, was that at that time my son was 13.
Yep.
Unbelievably, he's nearly 21 now. He's been working on this that long. It was that he didn't have the opportunities that I had when I was younger.
Yep.
And I wanted to. I felt like I had to try to make the town better, the place that I was born, brought up, educated. I live in with my family and my business is here to try and make a difference to the place that I live.
Yep.
And I've thought more about it. I'm fortunate that my dad is still around. When we started this, my dad was fit and healthy, but less so now, which is another aspect of my life, which is not so good. But so I just thought of the things that my dad would tell me and reflect on, and I thought it's a damn shame that we don't have the things that a town should have.
Yeah.
We're an extraordinary place, but we don't have things that a town like Paisley should have. We don't have a bus station. We don't have a cinema. We don't have things to do. And the council and our wisdom wanting to turn the town centre into a residential scheme, which is laudable in its own right, wanting people to have somewhere to live and a strategic objective to populate the town centre. But we were looking to populate the town centre and give people nothing to do.
Yeah.
That Billy Connolly thing, Andy, that you put the thing up and it was...
Oh, aye. Yeah.
Somewhere bereft of cinemas, cafes, things to do, leisure. It tears at the soul of the community.
Absolutely.
Tease out.
Oh, tease out, Gary. Hold on. Hold on. We should have been drinking cocktails or something like that tonight, Gary. A wee celebration of the last year, but
who says that? Who says I'm early?
Well, indeed. I've got the tea. Definitely a cup of tea here, Gary.
Yeah, so I also felt, Andy, that I was in a fortunate position that I had a business, I was doing okay.
Yeah. And
it dawned on me that if you're able to give something back, if you're able to help, then you should. And I put myself forward. That's why I was doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of echo a lot of that stuff as well, Gary. You're born and raised in the town, and you look at the town, you look at Paisley, you look at the wonderment that is the architecture of Paisley and the riches that we have. But clearly, there's something not right. It doesn't have that vibrancy. It doesn't have that same sort of buzz that you would expect from other towns of its sort of size and location, and the population. And a lot of people online talking it down, a lot of people talking it down. And that disconnect's not right. There's something rotten when you need to dig a little deeper that needs to be addressed or fixed or whatever. And I guess you can do one of three things, Gary. I've always said this. You can either stay and moan about the town, you can leave, go elsewhere, or you can stay and try and do something about it. And that was the kind of pathway that I chose to take, Gary, was to try and stay and do something about it, to try and, work collaboratively, with an open mind, with those that are out there that really have those sort of similar views to ourselves. And I'm hugely passionate about the town, hugely passionate about Paisley and its opportunities. I think there are some that don't quite jump out of bed with a view of making Paisley great every day. But I certainly do, and I know you share that passion, Gary, of how we can help to invigorate the town and the town centre. And this chat show, I guess, and to the point, was an opportunity to really shine a light on some of the brilliant people that exist within our town. We've got so many great and wonderful community heroes. We've had them on, we've chatted with them, we've blathered with them, we've promoted their causes. And Paisley's got some really brilliant folk in it, and they deserve a town, and they deserve an environment and a place that supports the hard work and effort that goes in. So Paisley Community Trust's chat show was just an attempt to shine that spotlight on some of the absolutely wonderful folk that we're lucky to have, and we're lucky that they care, and we're lucky that they give some, Gary. Really is.
Yes, that's really interesting, Andy. That I didn't fully appreciate the depth of community activism that's on in and around the town.
Yep.
And the brilliant people that are out there that are doing all of these brilliant things, small, medium, and large. And I suppose if we reflect on Paisley Community Trust, what we've been trying to do, and I've been criticised for this in the past, Andy.
Yeah.
You look to do things, and do you not think they're a bit big? You don't think they're a bit unachievable? And I'm not I'll not bow to that.
Yeah.
Because if it's not thought big at a macro level, then what are we thinking about in the town? When we got behind the vision, Andy, the vision for 2030, this thing here.
Oh yeah.
We got right behind that.
Yep.
We're in that. That's a whole series of opportunities that are thinking big. And I'm interested now. I'm being serious about it, and we've been serious for a moment. That societal change that needs to come for a place like Paisley.
Yep.
Needs to come with collaboration.
Yep.
Every government initiative that's out there, Andy, calls for community and government collaboration.
Yep.
And formally, in 2014, we formed a community trust to do just that, to join up those macro initiatives.
Yep.
And we come up with one of our own. We said, look, we're fed up with you populating the town with nothing to do. Nothing to do.
Yep.
So we're going to put our hand up. You've asked folk to put their hand up. We're doing it.
Yep.
We want to work in collaboration. And you're the guys that are saying we should be working in collaboration, so let's do it.
Yep. Absolutely.
And here we are in 2021. Let's call it 2020 because that's what the Euros are doing, Andy. This is
I thought we weren't meant to mention the football tonight, Gary.
No, we're going to show something. I hope, Andy. Did you get that video?
I did. I got the video. It's teed up. Yeah,
we need to show it. We need to show it. So Jackie's asked. There's Jackie Gillen asked that publication there, so that you can see along the bottom of it. So this is public domain stuff. What to do is search for Paisley is open. A vision for Paisley Town Centre 2030. Endorsed, sponsored by Renfrewshire Council, Scotland's Towns Partnership, and no less than the Scottish Government.
Yep.
There you go. Published this year in 2020.
Published this year in 2020. Absolutely.
Published in 2020.
It's right here as well, Gary. You know, I've got the document right here. You know, I've read through it. You know, 360, the architects, and we've had Alan Anthony on. Alan's another Paisley guy, hugely supportive of initiatives in the town, and you know that's a start on the vision and ambition. And we need delivery now. We demand delivery. I think we do. I think it's rightful to demand delivery of, because it's okay coming up with a vision, Gary. You now need to start to deliver it, or it will just become another one of those documents that just sit there and don't actually come through. And we've talked about the private investment coming into the town, but that needs to be matched. That needs to be supported. And some of these initiatives need to be assisted and supported to happen.
Andy, hold me back if I go down a rabbit hole here, but we don't let me do this. we asked a question recently.
We did.
At a very senior level. What projects are there coming out of this? What was the answer, Andy?
Did we get an answer?
Yeah, we did. The answer was none. Only your project at Paisley Community Trust. Which I found, well, that's interesting. That's interesting. So out of how many pages is that, Andy? So a quick flick.
Tomes.
Hunters. Over 350 pages worth of Paisley is open for 2030.
Aye.
How many?
Move on, Gary, because it's like 2022 around the corner. These projects, you know, you got to move at pace, Gary. With an opportunity, you know, you don't want to miss open goals, you know.
Hey, talking about open goals, Andy, and football.
So back on to the football, Gary. Have you been enjoying the game?
Well, I watched the game last night, Andy, and I can appreciate good football. I really can appreciate good football. I'm not one of these. We should be. By the way, remember my prediction last week, Andy?
You called it right. You absolutely called it right. You said Scotland would lose in the first game. They would hold their own against England at Hampden and get a draw, and then all to play for in that standard last-minute style that we would lose.
Yeah. All we need to do, hashtag, all we need to do is beat Croatia.
Exactly.
I did call it. I mean, but it wasn't a glorious failure. It was we get beat by a team that was far better than us.
Aye.
The way I noticed it, particularly in the second half, the way that they just got the ball, passed it about, kept it, passed it about, slotted it in when they've seen an opportunity. Whereas Scotland were running with it a lot, punting it a lot.
Aye.
And did they used to work?
I know.
So when we had a good team, 1974 was probably our best side.
Oh, that's before my time, Gary.
The dawning of glorious failure, 1974. Billy Bremner ball hitting off his shins, getting by the post against Brazil. That was just so close. And then we played quite good passing football then in 74. And then of course we were going to win it in 78 and screwed up. And since then. And then last night, particularly the centre of midfield. I noticed in the centre of the midfield, Armstrong in the centre of the midfield, compared to Billy Gilmour, who isn't the saviour. He's a young guy that had a good game in his first cap.
Yeah.
But if he was playing, he'd have held the ball, passed the ball, went for it, got it again, passed it. Armstrong was getting it, running, trying to dribble, getting beat, and they were getting up the back again. Anyway, so that's my analysis of it, Andy. And we were talking about own goals earlier, and open goals. Open goals is what we're talking about.
Open goals.
Yeah.
There's Paul calling you in.
Gary! I come back. That's my Billy Connolly moment without it being funny.
Gary!
So we're talking about open goals tonight, Andy. After this clip, we'll maybe talk about more open goals. You want to football and open goals, Andy? Let's show the clip.
And no surprise there, seeing he's up against a strong and physical Norwegian defence. Scott Brown in the Norway half. Cuts on his side to Naismith. Naismith spins it. The boy from Cockbridge has put Scotland in front.
The policeman went at him.
He's missed it.
He missed. Oh my God!
I don't believe it.
He missed that. He's having a laugh.
What happened there?
He missed that.
Oh no!
He's missed it. I don't believe it. What happened there?
He's missed it. That's a metaphor for what's been happening recently.
Oh, Gary,
Almost
hasn't it?
Almost every bit of that, Andy, is unbelievable parallel. If we were to tell you, if we were to tell you,
there's the walks and years, Gary.
Aye, if we were to tell you about open goals, I'll tell you.
Oh my goodness! I'm sure, Gary,
it's worse than that one.
I'm sure it'll all come out in the wash, as they say. But anyway, Gary, I'm going to move us on a wee bit.
Okay.
If you're all right with that. So, folks, tonight it is season 1, episode 61, and tonight is our season finale. We might end in a cliffhanger. Who shot JR? We don't really remember it that well. Who knows what's going to happen tonight? But tonight is a chance for you to join us on the chat show. So if you look at the comments here, folks, there is a link, a StreamYard link. So we're not, hopefully, I know you tune in faithfully every week, but this is your chance to join us on the chat show. Don't be shy. Come join us, have a wee blether. So that wee link is out there, and you can come on and you can see anything. We'll see. I know we've had Wallace on before. We've had a few other folk on before. So if you've been on before, great. If not, now is your chance. So, Gary, we usually do a wee section that's caught my eye.
What's caught your eye, Andy?
What's caught my eye? Well, a couple of things caught my eye this week, and we're going to get back. I was going to say we're going to get back on script, Gary, but we never had a script for tonight. We never had a script for tonight. So, what caught my eye? A couple of things caught my eye this week, and this was the first one it was actually, it never caught my eye, but it caught Claire's eye this week.
Yeah.
Because Claire is a fan of. Oh, hold on, Gary! Breaking news! Is
it? What?
No, hold on. Wait there to take that off. Look. Right. Look here.
Where you go?
My missus has brought us in a wee gin here, Gary. A wee teardrop gin, apparently.
No, that's off a good over.
So you might have the pineapple shirt on, Gary, but I've got the cocktails.
You get the drinks that are for free.
I've got the free drinks, absolutely. I don't. It's a wham. It's a wham tribute tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
My bags are packed.
There's another song about that as well. But Gary, sorry, back to this one. This caught Claire's eye, and it was filming for a new Irving Welsh drama in Paisley. Now, apparently, they were filming in Moss Street,
Yeah.
And someone also mentioned they were filming in Thornley Park, a crime drama in Paisley. I know there's been a few crimes committed in Paisley over the years, but this is a fictional one written by Irvin Welsh. Did anyone see Dougray Scott? Did anyone see anything at all?
Were you Ronald Villiers hanging about in the back? Oh.
Sharks and the Jets.
Sharks the Jets. Sharks the Jets.
Well, apparently,
That's better. I can see now.
Adaptation of the novel Filth. Don't know if it is. May have been.
The thing that caught my eye on that thing that caught Claire's eye was the name of the cafe. I was walking up Moss Street the other day and I thought, where's that cafe? But it's the one right at the bottom of the corner where it used to be the job centre.
Down there. So we've had a few sightings already.
Oh, aye. Yeah. I saw the filming bottom of Moss Street at the car park at the back, Mr. Wallace.
Were they whose bottom were they filming, Wallace? Was it
filming bottom? This is a X certificate. They were filming bottoms of Moss Street.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Gary, I hate to say, but well done.
Well done for what?
Well done for getting through 61 weeks of chat show.
For you.
Exactly. Right, so that caught my eye this week, Gary. Another wee thing that caught my eye this week. Now, who doesn't like a man in a kilt, Gary?
Is that a loaded question?
We're back onto bottoms at Moss Street.
You got a picture of that guy in London?
No, better now, folks, and particularly for our overseas contingent, or Chicago and New York viewers that tune in faithfully every week, you will maybe have been blessed with some of the views of the Tartan Army as they wear their kilts and they've been out and about doing their thing, socially distanced, I'm sure. But this caught my eye, and this is Houston's The Kilt Makers updated their Facebook page with this image.
Yes.
And I thought
the tide was out.
Well, the tide was definitely out, but taken at the Hamels with the mill in the background, and I thought that's a great image. Now Paisley and our beauty spots are being used to really film and promote. So we're promoting the business, but we're promoting the town as well. I thought that was a smashing picture.
Great picture. Andy, what's he looking at?
What's he looking at? He's looking at the council buildings
and thinking,
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. He's going, what?
You knocked that one down and know that one. You could have the opportunity for flats at the riverside and you knocked that one down. What are you on about?
I don't know, Gary. So that caught my eye. I thought that was smashing. Now, we were talking about some of the community heroes.
We have been for 60 odd weeks, Andy.
We have. We were talking about some of the wonderful community heroes. Now, folks, as you know, we have some brilliant guests on week after week. And there's some guests that do what they do that actually gets quite emotional for us to listen to. Because, these are people who put the time, effort, and energy and love into supporting others, particularly the needy within the town. Well, it's now an opportunity for you to support one of those individuals. And I don't know if you saw this one, Gary, but this is for Rex.
Yeah, I did. I seen that. Paisley's
community fridge. His fridge is busted, Gary, and he needs a new fridge.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic work that Rex does.
Yeah,
he gets a lot of donations, and he does it all for free, and he needs a new fridge. So that's the bottom line, really, isn't it?
It is the bottom line. So he's been busy doing this, and for those that maybe never saw the show, Rex came on, and Rex runs a community cabinet and a community fridge. He doesn't ask any questions. If you come in and you need something, the fridge is there. And what he asked for is donations to keep that stocked, so that if you're in, you want to donate something for the fridge or buy something for the fridge or the cabinet, that's where it goes, and it's there to need for someone in need in our town. And he's based in Moss Street, is that right, Gary?
Halfway down Moss Street, depending
Halfway down, not at the bottom.
Depending on what direction you're coming, Andy, it's still halfway down.
It's either halfway down or halfway up.
Yeah, correct.
So he's got a GoFundMe page, and we'll try and get this on social media a little bit later on. But I'm sure if you were to Google GoFundMe community page or hit up his page on Facebook, you'd be able to find it.
Yeah.
And it's £4,300, and he's attached the quotation from a reputable company to install one of the commercial fridges that he needs. £4,300 or £4,800. If you want to help Rex, to help other people, please, please, please support Rex and everything he does, because Rex actually told a really emotional story, and it was great to have him on the show.
Do you know what, Andy? That's the sort of thing that a corporate organisation like M&S should be leaving behind in our town.
Oh, yeah.
My view is it's a damn disgrace that they've left our town behind. But if they're going to take flight to the edge of town and just round the corner for me, and better for me, we can nip down and get stuff, but no better for the town. If they're going to do things like that, to engage with the community, is there anything we can do to help? Yes, there is. Give Rex a hand.
Yeah.
Give some of your food that's nearly out of date, and give him a couple of fridges.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. That's a really good point, because this has been the year. I mean, it's been the year of COVID. We've all been stuck at home. We've all been having to distance from our friends, families, loved ones. We've had weddings cancelled. We've had funerals, with really small numbers and everything that you could possibly imagine. We've had it really, really, really tough. But there are still needy people out there who need support, who need our assistance and need our help. And then you get big corporates like M&S who have been in the town for 89 years, I think it was, Gary, and been tempted away by the opportunity that was created to have an out-of-town retail park, which now just moves that centre of gravity away from the town. And you're right, those responsible, Marks and Spencers, could have left something behind in the town, a legacy. A donating a fridge is nothing. £4,800, that should be easy done.
Maybe we should write to them, Andy.
Maybe we should, Gary. Maybe we should.
Yeah.
So, what else caught my eye? There was something else. There was a couple of things that caught my eye, Gary. This one. And this was actually on the news a little bit earlier on, folks. It's a wee bit boring.
No way.
But it's important.
Are we going to finish the show on some boring stuff, Andy?
No. We'll finish the show on some good stuff. But it's maybe boring, but it's really, really, really important for the planet, Gary.
Oh, go on.
And it was this one here. It was on the news that Scotland is that we create 18.4 ton of waste, not waste of ton of effectively cost per person per year. So your food, the petrol that it costs to transport food to your table, the plastic that you consume, the materials that you consume in your phones and computers, etc., the power that's generated. So Zero Waste Scotland found that the total weight of resources for the average Scot was 18.4 ton per year.
Yeah.
And that to get to sustainable levels within Europe, it needs to be down to 8 ton.
Wow.
This is planet saving stuff here.
That's interesting.
And we've all got to do it.
That's really interesting, Andy. I learned something slightly connected to that in the past couple of weeks. I happen to have a an interesting conversation with HMRC about VAT.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, about VAT related to a charity potentially investing in a town centre building.
Yep.
To turn it into something else. And they said to me, if you built on the brownfield or out of town, you don't need to pay VAT.
Right.
Okay, right, thanks for that. If you knocked it down to the ground and built up again, you don't need to pay VAT.
Right.
That's interesting. If you refurbish it to become residential, you don't need to pay VAT. I thought, that's also interesting. I said, what if we are a charity and you want to turn it into a charitable purpose? No, sorry, sir. You need to pay VAT. So the carbon thing, that carbon thing about encouraging you to build and reuse carbon footprint, I think the term is.
Yes. Yeah.
If you knocked it down, which is getting rid of the carbon footprint and building again more carbon footprint, you don't pay VAT.
You don't pay VAT. Imagine there were kind of like, instruments, financial instruments, grants or various other things that could maybe contribute towards that. That would be really good, Gary, wouldn't it? Gary,
you're moving on for that? You want me to contribute there? Are you just moving on?
It was just an open statement because I realised, Gary, that we have a guest that's popped in.
Is we get the BAM filter?
We've got the BAM filter working, and this particular guest has passed the BAM filter, and I'm going to bring him on. I'm going to bring him on now.
I'm pleased with that.
Hey, Darren.
How you doing?
Hey, Darren. Hey,
Darren. That's all right. So have I passed your BAM filter then? Yeah.
I'm glad you have. I think it was. We've phoned up the BAM filter, and they said it was touch and go. But they let you through because you had YMCA at the end of your
there we go.
We need to install a new version of McAfee BAM filter. It doesn't seem to be working properly. So, are you the musical act tonight, Dan? Is that what's?
A long time ago, that was my career. Actually, yeah, I left my maths exam at Parkmains High in 1991 to go and see David Lee Roth. A Little Ain't Enough tour at the SEC. That was my first ever gig, and awesome. It was age 15. That's when I decided I was going to become a rock star. And
you decided?
I decided. I left.
Did the market decide otherwise?
Well, I don't know if it was talent or not. I think it was maybe fate or whatever. But talent probably had a bit of play in that. So I quit school, joined a band with all my mates, and toured and gigged and recorded. And I'm qualified as well. I'm qualified to an advanced HND in live music performance, whatever that means. So I was proper for this. This is my whole life for 10 years. And I ended up working for a number of record companies as a scout and things like that. So my claim to fame, I've got two claim to fames.
Go on.
One is I was part of the team that signed up with the Clyro, because they originally signed up to a student label that I was on at the time. And the other one is that I was there at the very beginning when Bell and Sebastian were formed, because I was part of the same unemployed project at Beatbox Studios in Finlayson in Glasgow where they were formed. And, yeah, we helped set up a whole bunch of stuff.
I didn't know that. Here's a fact. Did you also know that David Bowie wouldn't have did what he did unless he had his HNC?
right.
That's a true story. That's a true story.
Aye. But that's just the thing. See, when you live with your parents when you're mid-20s and you're still kicking about with a guitar, that's when you really got to start thinking about your life choices and start thinking about something else. Hey ho!
It became one of them up there. One of them.
Well, listen, Darren, thanks for coming on to the show, and you'd sent us a wee message in there that you wanted to talk about 5 New Street in Paisley. So I've got no idea what you want to cover on that, but here's Paisley Community Forum. So Darren, tell us what you're thinking.
Well, it's a bit impromptu because I was filling up the dishwasher there, listening to you in the background. And when you did the open invite for anybody to speak about anything, I thought it was a good opportunity to talk about. Obviously, at the YMCA, we are reviewing the situation of what's happening with 5 New Street at the moment. With the college now moved out, we've got to start thinking about what we're doing with the building. And it's very apt, Gary, that you had brought up, the Paisley 2030 vision, because obviously in one of those 350 odd pages, there's a wee feature there at Paisley as well, of the YMCA building and the vision that they had for that. So what we're looking at the moment, and again, it'd be a great opportune thing to maybe have a question of the week back in series 2, is what would people like the 5 New Street building to end up doing in its new phase. So one of the things that we're doing at the moment is we've had the board go round the building again, just because we've got a whole raft of new board members now, and they've never seen the building, so they've all went round to look at it a couple of weeks back, just to see what ideas are going to come. And so one of the things is a possibility, and everything's at the talking stage right now, but possibly as a mecca for youth activity in the town centre of Paisley for a number of youth organisations, because one of the questions of the week was about what was there for young people in the town. So there are a number of things in the town for young people to do, but there isn't a centralised place in the town where you could have, somebody who's dedicated to like some music, like Loud and Proud, or youth arts like Create Paisley, or dance like Right to Dance and all that. So we've invited all of these partners over the next couple of weeks as part of what's called the Renfrewshire Youth Network, and they're all going to view that building. So one of the considerations with the council and a couple of Renfrewshire Leisure and Arts is about having it as a youth arts and technology hub, and mix up a whole bunch of kind of things, so everybody has their own specialisms but can partner up. That's just one of a few ideas. There is the possibility that we might be fortunate, we might get another sizable tenant in, like the college, and they'll have one organisation will come in and take over that building. But it would be great to invite you guys along as well. I don't know the last time, Andy or Gary, that you were in 5 New Street, and you'd be more than welcome to come along as well, because we would really value the input from the trust regarding what's going to be the future of the building, because right now it's completely unwritten. Now that the college have left, we're all just blue sky thinking now as to what we're going to do with that building. But that's one of the ideas that we've spoken with 5 or 6 major funders about doing a consortium and having a group of different youth organisations, maker organisations, all sorts of creative art organisations that are in and around Paisley, and their premises might be short term, they might not be big enough, they might have outgrown them, and so there's a possibility here, because there's a massive amount of square footage in that building, and it would be great to see something happen come 22.
Sounds great, Darren. Sounds great.
What's the building got, Darren? Because I mean, I've been in that building once or twice previously, but I'm it's quite an expanse. There's lots of different rooms, lots of different sort of setups in there. So what's it got roughly?
Well, it used to be originally West College Scotland's music and drama department. So at the very top, the top floor is all laid out like a recording studio. So it's all got the proper double glazed, double fronted glass and things like that recording studios have. And then as you start to go down through the building there, like you say, it's a bit like a rabbit warren type thing. There's rooms going off in all sorts of funny directions. Some of them are the size of a kind of average, school classroom of 33. And then some of them are spring floor, glass wall dance studios, which is about 2 or 3 of them. So they've got big sized, proper full scale spring floor dance studios in it. Recording studios all kitted out with all the boxes and all the connections and things like that. And then you've just got there's 2 kitchens. I didn't know there was a kitchen in the place, but there's 2 kitchens. There's like a cafe style area at the very ground floor. And one of the important things is one of the Achilles heel with that building is obviously the need for internet and fibre infrastructure.
Yep.
So right out the front door as you walk into 5 New Street, there is now the City Fibre little black box that you see on the ground. So we can go for a gigasit, which is the fastest broadband that you can get in the UK at the moment.
Yep.
So it's all geared up for something really, really good. But yeah, there's loads of little small office spaces.
Yep.
If there's a wee small company or a little small jeweler, a freelancer or something like that, that maybe want to take over one of the smaller rooms, and there's like medium-sized rooms and really large rooms, and then these kitchens, and we're looking at maybe having some kind of community cafe type thing, but for people who are already working and developing and learning within the building, a kind of central meeting place as well for them to come together over a coffee and chat about what other things that we can work out and do.
Darren, are you going to do all that under your own steam?
No, not at all, because we've still got a youth program to run, and we've obviously got a summer program. So obviously we're moving back into 39 High Street at the moment on a temporary basis until we figure out what's going to happen with 5 New Street. So we envision that we'll certainly be moving in there, but we're not big enough. The YMCA is not big enough themselves to occupy that size of building.
Yep.
So we're looking for other partners and other interested organisations to come in with us and put together some magic.
Yeah, and presumably the building is owned by YMCA.
Oh yes, it's still owned by the YMCA. Yeah,
So
the building is still owned by YMCA.
You guys own it, but there'll be no doubt there'll be sort of ongoing running costs and maintenance costs, and because it's quite an old building, so I'd imagine there'll be problematic bits of the roof and all that sort of stuff.
So that's one of the things that we're still looking at as well. In one respect, it's almost like a bad car, and that at some point you've got to get rid of it because it's just costing you money. And in some respects, that building is like that. It's over 100 years old. That building, in parts, it is crumbling. And needs some serious work being done. There has been some substantial structural work being done that's been paid for by the YMCA back in November 2019, and it was shut just before the pandemic, and then it was shut again because of that. So there is further works needing done, and that's what we've had conversations with 5 big major funders regarding the structural work that is needing done, because that is going to be a big part going forward. And all of that needs to be put in place before we start moving, obviously, any kind of vision that we have for it. So we're, like I say, we're at the talking stage. We're talking to funders. They are certainly interested in this idea of a consortium of youth organisations or other charities or makers or freelancers coming together in the one building, doing technology and doing arts and creative crafts and youth and things like that. It's particularly for young people in an entrepreneur type and enterprise environment.
So, Darren, are you speaking to the guys from Renfrewshire Youth Voice?
Yes, we are. They've been invited along as well. So we're doing a site visit with all of those guys and other youth organisations that are based within Paisley in the town centre in the next 2 weeks, just to show them around so that they can have an idea.
I like the sound of you saying that it's all kitted out for kind of recording studios and various things, Gary. What about a permanent studio? If we do come back for the chat show, we could be.
Wow,
we could be in there. We could turn it into Broadcasting Centre Paisley.
That means we need to get serious.
Yeah,
we need to plan a series too. We could get real guests in.
What's our budget?
Oh, I don't know, but Darren, you mentioned it's kind of a problematic car, but the reality is that building is a classic. It is a classic if we're going to use the vehicle metaphor, and ultimately, if you can get the business model right and you can get tenants in, then the income that's going to generate is going to allow you to maintain all the maintenance that comes with a building of that age, and hopefully you get the support. But as always from Paisley Community Trust, you have our support, and if there's anything that we can do, tonight is getting that on our radar. It sounds really interesting, and we'd be delighted to follow up with you and get a wee view around, see what it's got, and put our thoughts and views and we've done an awful lot of work on various areas as well that might provide beneficial for what you're trying to do. So count us in, Darren.
That would be great, because as you say, Andy, that's one of the things that we're wanting to avoid, is it to be mothballed or to be left empty, and then it starts growing, bushes outside every orifice of the building, and we don't want that to happen. We don't want it to end up being like the fire station and the building that's across from the university and things like that. We don't want it to go into disrepair, basically. We want it to still keep it in use, but as you say, it's a big building, and it's not a building that we are capable or have the capacity as the YMCA to look after it ourselves anymore. So that's what this was. It was basically a kind of call to action, if you will, just to let people know, that in Paisley, that the building is vacant, and we're looking for new ideas. And I love that idea of a community trust TV studio lights, and a desk where you're both round. That would be amazing. I would love that. That would be cool.
I used to sit my exams in there, Darren.
Right.
A wee while ago, 91, I graduated from Paisley Tech, and I sat my economics exam in there.
Right. Well, it's amazing the amount of people that you do talk about the building, that they all have memories. I just recently went and got myself a new car down at Arnold Clark in Hillington, and the guy who sold me it was talking about all the people that he used to know when he used to hang out at the YMCA when he was younger in the 60s and things like that. So everybody I meet has some kind of connection to that building. So it would be great to have that connection continue, into the next, couple of decades and things like that, and not have it mothballed. Yeah. So if the council's sitting listening as well, we would definitely be interested in hearing from them too about how they could maybe support so that we can avoid that.
Good luck with that one.
Well, listen, Darren, it's been great to have you on. It's been great to hear that you have chat show on in the background as you're doing your housework. So thanks for tuning in. And Darren, follow up with us, drop us an email, send us a wee message, and we'll look forward to seeing you at some point.
Thanks for coming on, Darren.
Thanks for having me on, and congratulations on your final episode of your series 1. Can't wait for the box set so we can all binge on it.
Oh, I know. Well, listen, they're all available on YouTube.
Oh, up on YouTube. On our YouTube channel.
Brilliant. All right, I'll check that out then. Good. All right, see you later, guys.
See you later. Take care. Cheers. Oh, that sounds quite interesting.
Yes, I'm graduated 1991, Paisley Tech.
Oh, here, Gary, that was another wee thing that caught my eye. Was this one here?
Yeah.
1923 to 1924. So this was your certificate, Gary. Is that right?
There has been comments of a similar nature, saying that someone says, "Aye, he was a lecturer."
Well, this was Paisley Technical College, which, for those that might not know, I'm sure most of you do, but that's now UWS. And this was a certificate given to somebody, 1923 to 1924, mechanical engineering.
That's what I got. That's what I did, Andy.
Are you sure it wasn't you, Gary?
Could have been. I was in the Umbrella Academy, so I kind of came and went through the portals, the time portals.
The time portals.
Isn't it stunning, the things we've learned in this show, Andy, that either in Paisley, started in Paisley, are about to start in Paisley, people are doing in Paisley, despite some of the obstacles that get put in front of them.
Yeah, well, exactly, and the thing is, I hope there's a lot of support for what they're trying to do at the YMCA, because that's a great building, right? It's a great building, but that building can be a springboard for achieving wonderful things, and we need people to care. We need folk to actually get out of their bed in the mornings and really care about our town, and focus their support, focus their energies, focus their collaboration.
Yeah, Andy, that's a really
initiatives like that.
It's a really, really good question. I think we should bring Annette on and ask her about that subject.
Annette.
Hello, how are you doing?
And
Right.
why? I noticed in the studio you were having problems with your connection, and now your phone's that way around when it should be that way around.
Oh, is it? Let me see.
Do that, and there we go. Because it wasn't so much you, but we can now see Frank, or we could see Frank a wee bit better. He's just
Can you?
there. We go. That's your
I have to
Amazon.
duck down though.
That's good. Can we be frank?
I kept losing signal. I kept every 5 minutes. My internet would go down, and I don't know what's happening. So, and how good was Darren? Remembering all my questions. That was good.
Great. It's good. It's good for people to pop in,
Good.
and great to hear that the YMCA are speaking to some funders to save the building and to bring the potential of a youth hub up to that corner of the town. Wish them well with that.
No, definitely.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
So,
And
Annette got you to pop in here in advance of your question of the week. Andy was asking there, and it was touching on caring. And question of the week between us three. There's nobody watching. Do you think folk care enough, Annette, about the town? Do you think folk give a monkeys?
Well, definitely. They seem to come across as if they're care enough. You know, we're getting lots of comments on social media. We get lots of input and everything that we put out there. So I definitely think they care. Yeah, 100%.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And you know, the right people. Do the right people care?
Not sure if the right people care. I think
What do you mean, Andy?
The community care. The community care.
Yeah.
The people that live in the town care. The people that are actually wanting to see it better and improve definitely care.
How easy do you think, Annette, that can be washed away? That care and consideration and staying power. How long do you think people care before they stop caring or give up?
Oh, that's a difficult question, isn't it? If you get the passion, you'll not give up, will you? You'll continue to fight. You'll continue, like the Scotland squad, you'll continue to get back up there and challenge.
I'm going to read something, and that somebody sent this to me. I don't know if Andy's got it as a picture, but here's something that someone sent to me this evening, and it's kind of about caring and about staying power, and it says, "Close some doors, not because of pride, incapacity, or arrogance, but simply because they no longer lead somewhere." Which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Poignant, Gary. Very poignant. Well, listen.
You don't need to be sad or a downer. It's just a thing.
Well,
sometimes you push at a door for that long and you think there's something behind it, and you think there's someone ready to open it for you, and there actually isn't.
Or it's a trap door. They open it. Come on in. And you fall in a big hole, Gary.
Yeah. I'm always one for saying there's another door to be opened. When one that doesn't open, there's something around the corner that will open for you, and it's the right thing for you. So
I'm all for that at a personal level. Absolutely, you keep going because that's what you do as a person, and you must. And I really believe that when you close a door, another one opens. Mm-hmm. So perhaps the closing of a door is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And the reality is, Gary, we like opening doors at Paisley Community Trust.
We do, and we like opening doors where two people can meet and collaborate and work together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a way to do it.
And I think that's what Darren's doing, isn't he? He's trying to open the doors to collaborate with all the different people around the town that need help, need support, need a space. So he seems to be going down the right route and, going to those people rather than to the councils or to other people that they think that might get help from.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's Eddie commenting. I don't know what he might mean.
Oh, talking about stealing doors.
Yeah, unbelievable that folk can remember that and pull me up for that. I made up, embellished
No, you didn't.
for the story. It was embellished for the story.
Thrush Craigs was well known for not having any doors round about bonfire night, Gary.
Finiston got their new Rolls sketch for talking about Thrush Craigs. He went, "There's no doors here. Let's turn that into Rolls. There's no Rolls." Yes, that's funny. That's funny.
Open doors day.
Good wee message there from Tony. No such thing as running out of steam.
Yeah, I'm going to close the doors metaphor, Andy. With sometimes the door gets slammed in your face, and there's not much you can do about it.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, Annette, you're on with our very last question of the week results from last week. If you remind us what the question was, can you remember?
I keep losing signal. You keep jumping in and out.
Well, we can hear you, so just keep going on it. Just carry on.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay. So the question of the week that I had for this week was because all the kids and the guys in the schools were getting their results this week. So they've started to come out to all the pupils who were sitting non-exams, but I've been doing really well, and the teachers have been assessing them and stuff. So what we asked was, as we reach the end of another school term, whilst colleges and university options in the town are good, are there enough job opportunities in the area for our young people who are looking into getting employed?
Yep.
And actually, we had quite a strange response. I was very surprised by it. We had yes, there is enough jobs, 15%.
Whoa.
And no, there's not enough jobs, which was 85%. So that really surprised me, because actually, if you go online, just today, there's over 2,010 Paisley jobs up there for grabs.
Okay.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where do you find these jobs for young people? Where are they? What would you look for?
Well, I just typed in jobs in Paisley, and there's 2,010 jobs in Paisley advertised in S1 jobs, at the moment. So they can go on and see those online. Also, we've got the Young People Guarantee site. And that's kind of run by, I think, Joanne Ferguson, one of our members. It's the Kickstart jobs.
Yeah, that's Joan. Joan's just commented there. And remember, Joan, there's an open invite to come on the show tonight. Come on for 5 minutes, have a chat.
Absolutely, Joan. You want to come on? Come on the show.
Yeah. So Joan had mentioned when the survey went up that she could maybe come on to the show. But again, those guys do a fantastic job for our young people and go and actually find employers to take these guys on from age 16 to 24-year-olds. So there is lots of opportunities in Paisley, and as you said, lots of new development, lots of things happening. So there is things there. So just need to get the word out, get it advertised, maybe get it in. I don't know if you've seen this coming out. I came back at the weekend, and these were on ATM's doorstep. So
physical copies now, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the latest cover. So maybe you could we could get those guys to do a youth version and get some jobs advertised in that for them. So
fantastic, Joan. Of course, there's no question of the week this week because it's the end of the series. But I want to ask, what's been your highlight of the show when you've been on it, and the questions, and just generally?
Are you asking me or Joan?
I'm on.
Oh, yeah, me. For me, it was the big questions. The big questions about Marks and Spencers and Shivers and stuff like that really got an insight into Paisley community and what all of those things meant to people, and how passionate they were, either their history or they worked there, or they just don't want to see the town, go downwards. They want to see it going up. And so all of that chat and all of the, interactions, because I'm at the back of it trying to interact with everybody and trying to make sure that we can answer their comments, or we tell them that we've seen their comments.
Yeah.
So many a night I've been sitting, with the phone, and my partner Stuart and my boy Max going, get off the phone, but I'm talking to everybody going.
Yeah. No, it's. I think the question of the week has been great because it's created a lot of debate. It's created a lot of conversation, and to that point, the folk care anymore. A lot of folk in the community really do care about the town, really do care about the Chivas building, really do care about Marks and Spencer's leaving the high street. It's great to get that level of support. And I know Joan, who's a regular viewer of the show, was in touch with you to say this is what's going on at Renfrewshire Council with the Kickstart and various other things. Has there been much in the way of, in terms of the question of the week, any other engagement from any other town stakeholders at all, if you like, or has it been mostly the community that's participated?
It's mainly the community. It's mainly mainly the community. Not very many from council or any major big stakeholders. No.
Yeah, it's good.
And a couple from Lorraine. She right at the very beginning, but
The biggest stakeholders in this town are the community, and it's
definitely.
It has been encouraging over these 61 weeks that the community have supported us and they come out in their numbers, and that's what Paisley does. Put something on, Paisley responds.
And this has been a big thing for me, to be honest, because this is me really out of my comfort zone. I'm usually the person in the background hiding and giving the information. It's took a lot for me to come on every week to be the face. So I'm really out my comfort zone, but I did it. So
You're brilliant, isn't it? It's been brilliant having you on the show, Annette, and you brought when we'd done it for, it must have been 40 weeks.
Aye.
We didn't think, let's get a new dynamic, let's do something different. It just happened, and you brought that new dynamic and your enthusiasm and your the characters that you brought to the screen. I mean, Frank,
I know.
He's been the way tonight.
I was trying to get him to take the attention off me. But just the fact that people noticed the background, and in fact, there was a chap that you had on, and he noticed that I'd changed something every time. Just to have a lot of different interactions. But I've enjoyed the show, and that's why I got involved in PCT. I was looking for something while I was off, not working during COVID, and you brought me into kind of thinking, actually, I've got that passion. I could make a difference. I could help. So that's my goal. That's why I'm here, is to try and make a difference to my community and to the people that I work with every day who live in my community. So
well done, Annette. Well done.
Yeah, Annette, a lot of comments on the social feeds, lots of compliments, as you might imagine, coming in for you, Annette, and not too many comments on Frank. And Elizabeth, if you can see the skinny guys in the background, that Amazon delivery driver has been waiting for about 20 weeks.
I lost you.
It was going so well. Right, we've got you now. Where are we going? We're off to see Frank.
How's Frank? Frank's playing hard to get. He's away in the corner and he's not moving tonight.
Here, Gary, he's got more hair than us.
I know. He's been working in some town centre initiatives for a number of years, Andy.
He's been waiting for funding a long time.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, that's me.
Oh dear me.
You're done. Well, listen, Annette, it's been brilliant to have you on. End of season 1. Will we be back for season 2?
Fingers crossed.
Let's see.
That is the big question of the week.
Definitely. I'll put it up there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well,
enjoy your break.
See you later on.
Bye.
Bye.
So Annette mentioned that we're having a break, and we're dressed for our holidays. I noticed a wee T-shirt thing going on under there, Andy. Is that something you want to? Was that a highlight for you? Is that why you're wearing the T-shirt?
Aye, that's my straight out of Paisley one.
Remember that?
I didn't consciously think it was just that was the T-shirt that was ironed at the top of the pile.
That feels like so long ago, Andy, that happened.
Oh, it does. I mean, there's
Remember
been.
that we launched St Mirren's charity T-shirt on the show.
We did. It was so long ago, Gary. There's been just tons of brilliant highlights throughout the whole period of the last 61 weeks.
Yeah,
that
there
we've
has
been
been.
busy shining that spotlight on.
There has been, and I've got to reflect on a whole gambit of life has happened during the show in the background. We've had everything happen in our lives, our personal lives that you can imagine. It's all been going on, and I would imagine everyone that's watching and everyone out there in Paisley and Renfrewshire has had their challenges, and we've stopped and paused now and again to thank the key workers in and around Paisley and Renfrewshire. And I've got to say it again, Andy. It should go without saying that we're thankful for the key workers in the NHS and everyone that keeps that wheel oiled and everything going. It's astounding what they've done and the work that they do and the work that they continue to do, from the nurses and the porters and the doctors and right through to the wee Hermes guy that turns up with the deliveries. Absolutely magnificent, and we couldn't do without any of them.
Although if it's Hermes delivery, they don't tend to turn up at your door. They just kind of slow down and chuck it from the van, Gary. Is what they tend to do.
We guy delivers in here. We've got to know him personally. Here's another one. Here's another
another delivery for you. I think you're right, Gary. I mean, there's been. Let's be really honest. Why are we in this position? And we talked earlier on about your motivation, Gary. My motivation of why we do what we do. We're hugely passionate about Paisley. We want to see it improve. Sometimes that feels like a massive uphill struggle, but we do it because we're there, and we keep trying. But we're also here, Gary, on the show doing this because of COVID. It's something that is as a generation, as a period of time, maybe for 100 odd years or so. No one else will ever experience what we've gone through, and hopefully we're out of the biggest challenge by the fact that we've now got these vaccines in place, we've got better treatments in place, and we're slowly but surely starting to see a lockdown. And I know it's been tough for people's lives, it's been tough for businesses and so on, and it's tough particularly for seeing your family and friends. But hopefully, folks, hope will drive us through. There is light at the end of this particular tunnel, and it's important that we just see it through to this next stage. Get your vaccines, get all that sort of stuff, and let's keep our fingers crossed that we can get out there into some sense of normality, because I know that we're all wanting to get there.
Yeah, I'm thankful for what I've got in my life, Andy, and I'm fingers crossed we can. I've got to say I'm disappointed. I don't see any sign of a different approach as we come out of this, which is a bit saddening that all that at the start talking about the new normal and how the world's going to change. I don't see it. Hopefully when we do come out of it, and maybe in 2 to 5 years' time, we'll all look back and go, God's sake, we come out of something really quite something serious there. And life is better.
Yeah. And it's I guess one of the questions is, is a place for a program like this in Paisley beyond COVID, and I know, folks, you're absolutely fantastic. The support that you've shown us each week, every single week that you turned up to listen to our wonderful guests and support what we do, and it's great to know that we've got that support. But it's a serious question. Myself and Gary have been doing this for 61 weeks. We've been doing other things for an awful lot longer, but time for a break, time for a holiday. Gary's got his holiday shirt on. Time for a wee break over the summer, and we'll see what comes.
Overseas trip.
Here, Wallace mentioned here. Wallace, you're quite right. I've got this wee view out here. I just like to. I like to keep my eyes on what's going on in the world. You see.
So Andy, there's been loads and loads of highlights loads and loads of things that we've shown, loads and loads of people that we've met.
Yes.
But something touched on my psyche earlier this week. You'll see some stuff behind me, and there's if you look up there,
yes,
not the balloon, but there's a piece of poetry that I was touched by last year.
Put your camera back up there again, Gary, because there's a balloon and then there's a kind of red deflated thing that I can see there.
What?
There's a balloon and then
right.
There's a red deflated object.
Right. So balloon, red deflated object. Is this the joke? Is this the funny?
Forget it, Gary. If I have to explain it,
go explain your jokes or something, right?
Michael got it.
I know, but okay. Move on for that, Andy. That's no fair.
Sorry about that, Gary. So you were saying.
So, and I was looking at it, and I thought, I remember that got read out round about this time last year, coming up to Small Shot, and I thought to move us towards the end of the show, I'd like that to be played again because it was that good.
It was that good. Do you want to introduce it, and I'll click the button, Gary?
Yeah, okay. So up the back there, I thought it was that good that I got a print made of it. So up there we have the Flu Shot, Small Shot by Sean Moore, and here it is on video.
Cheers. Near 170 years gone by. How can it be relevant still? Gone are the weavers, the corks and the looms. Gone are the very mills. As are the coal mines that fired them, the steel works that built them, and the ships that sailed all the shawls away. Industries now histories, communities broken boundaries. Does it matter, the moral of Small Shot Day? See, back then, the learned lesson of the Paisley pattern was a people's parable, people would do well to remember. That for a fabric, shawls or society, to keep its integrity, it needs a wee threads to keep it hanging together. And even the fanciest world-famed fabrics, with celebrated aesthetics loved and lionised, unravel tidbits without the input of the unseen, the unrecognised. And the fabric of society is unrecognisably altered. The Paisley and pan-global pattern changed. From when isolation was something splendid, a lifestyle choice of rulers of the waves. Through post-war pan-European peacetime to political pandemonium endemic in these present pandemic days. When the social has become the virtual, counting friendships with quick clicks in our post-industrial age. But through any historical stage, through pandemics, disasters or war, it's been a small folk on the front line. The fodder dropped in the firing line, now dropping food at your front door. In truth, not for glory nor riches nor honours, they protect, comfort and tend the herb still. Aye, those whom they entitled, betrayed and belittled, sneered at for being untrained or unskilled. Some high Hegians called it wrong, ill-advisedly. Some advisors were called out rightly on their hypocrisy, and the small folk kept it together. In 2020, the fabric of society has not unravelled and frayed. All thanks to the extraordinary, ordinary workers, the small shots in the modern day.
Doesn't that say so much, Gary?
It's great to hear those words and someone that's so talented that can put together a series of words and paragraphs that when you hear them, they mean something. But then when you actually read them, it means something else. And when I was moving the stuff about the walls, the second last paragraph of that caught my eye.
Yep.
And it caught my eye because it was so pertinent to today and so pertinent to not just society, Andy, but what's happening with us in the work that we've been doing. And it seriously caught my eye. And it was that paragraph. I'm not going to read it out. I think I'll just leave it there for people to ponder over, because to be honest, there's a slight undercurrent to tonight's show, and we've got some things that we would like to say, but we're not going to.
Oh, absolutely, Gary. Absolutely. But Sean, he reminded us all, we're the ordinary, extraordinary folk. We're the wee people that keep it all together. The communities of Paisley, the communities that are your neighbours, your tradespeople, those folk running, shops that are helping those in need, groups, organisation that do so much for the local communities. We're the people of Paisley. We are the small folk that count. That's really important, that everyone remembers that we have that capability to work together, to support each other, and to see us through, Gary.
Yeah, and to see it through with unbridled passion and goodwill, Andy, that comes for free because we live here. It's because where we live. I recall that Cameron, one of our trustees, was asking us for a personal quote for the website. Give us something that tells us that you can put under your name why you love Paisley.
Yep.
And I've never thought of Paisley like that. But then I thought, oh, what can I say? And what I said was, I was brought up here, born here. My family's here, and my friends are here.
Yeah,
it's where I choose to locate my business and my family, and that's enough.
Yeah. And really important.
And as I've said before, if you're able to, Andy, and you're able to do something and give something back, then you should. And I've got to say that when there's people that do that, that should be embraced.
Oh, it should be, and that's the thing. We need to have a collaboration community. We need to have a focus on supporting each other. Paisley's a wee place, and it's got its issues and it's got its challenges, but we need to all galvanise. We need to all work together in a spirit of community collaboration and work together to achieve. And we all need to do that. Everyone needs to care. They really need to care. They need to roll up their sleeves and put in the effort to allow and assist and make things happen, because otherwise you're just not serving the town or the communities well enough.
Yeah, the question, what's the point, comes to mind.
Yeah.
Very, very much. What's the point? And it's almost for me, Andy, and not to finish on a political point, it really is structural for me. When I've thought about this and the community being so passionate about this place that we live in, called Paisley, it just happens to be a piece of ground that we all happen to inhabit. We are ever running through it in buildings.
Yeah.
But the place is magnificent. The people are magnificent. When you've got that, to galvanise that into a new structure and a new way of governing locally, I think it's tangible. It's tangible, but you're pushing against that door, Andy, that I think is not openable.
Yeah.
And that's quite difficult to comprehend when you've got people that do care passionately about the town and they come against that door that's not open. So that we're not wanting to labour the point too much, but there's something that maybe you're picking up on that we're trying to say, and we're going to keep our dignity and not say it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a journey over the last 61 weeks, Gary, for this particular chat show. You know, it's coming to an end in but moments. We've overran or overran, but I don't know. We're not overrunning or overrun, but we're going to overrun. That's usually finishing on time, is it not, Gary?
We should underrun the overrun, Andy.
Or you want to underrun the overrun?
It should be policy. It should be policy to underrun the overrun.
Yeah. Breaking news, Gary. Breaking news. We've actually inspired some people to join Paisley Trust.
God, he's only been here 61 weeks.
Paul, I thought you were already a member. Annette was telling us we've got over 200 members, another over 4,000 on our community Facebook and social media pages that follow and do what we do. And we know that if we put this out here, you know, quite a lot of folks see it, rewatch it. And we've got a reach to over 5, if not tens of thousands, depending on who the guests are on the show. So we've got quite a reach. But folk, we're here for you. We represent you, the community of this town, and we're a member-driven charitable organisation trying to improve this place. Thank you to each and every single one of you for your support. We do what we do because we believe in the town, but also because we know that we've got backup from all of you who want to see change and demand change in this town. And we can't miss open goals. When those opportunities are there, we need to seize them. We need to enable it. We need to make it happen, and not look at ways of stymieing opportunity within this town. It's too important.
Yeah. So we're going to try and finish on a happy note. How are we going to do that?
We're trying to rally the troops. We're going to paint our faces blue and shout freedom, Gary.
Aye, well,
I'm channeling my inner William Wallace, who was educated at Paisley Abbey nonetheless. What do you think a modern day William Wallace would make of various things, Gary? There's a question.
I think there'd be a few heads getting chopped off, Andy.
Do you think he would be wielding his claymore and rallying the troops?
No, there would be heads getting chopped off. I think that's as simple as that.
They did that in those days.
He excelled at that. He was good at the head chopping. Was Willie, and he would have come out the Abbey. Head
should roll, is what you're saying.
He would. Aye, I wasn't, but it's a fair comment. Things should change. New structures. If we're going to make a difference in this town, and the community most definitely want to see difference in the town, then it needs to be galvanised. It needs to be embraced.
Absolutely. Folks, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. We're going to get our Wednesday nights back, Gary. What, apart from going on your holiday on a Calmac ferry to wherever you're going?
Just to finish, I've just gone to get my rubber ring.
Where are you off to? Finport, Gary?
Finport by the sea. Me and Winston, my pal Winston, will be down at Finport at the weekend, getting the Calmac. Is it there? You see it?
The Calmac.
A wee overseas trip. I hope we get this contract after this, Andy.
Hey.
Anyway, I've got to say, what an absolute, to finish, Andy, what a privilege it has been to be on this chat show. My thanks to you. My thanks to everyone that's been on the show, that's been our guests. Absolutely fantastic people. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in. Thanks to everyone who's commented. Thanks to folk that have stopped us in the street asking for autographs. Nobody recognised us.
That didn't happen, Gary. No, we've not been out. Any time we've been out, we've had our masks on, Gary.
No, much appreciated. And if you've got a bit of joy and a bit of respite by having the chat show on, then I'm pleased with that.
Gary, it's been a real pleasure and a privilege to chat with you every Wednesday night. Have a laugh, have a blather, do this together, and and all along the way, speak to wonderful people with that sidebar of sheer enjoyment coming in every single week. So it's been an honour, sir. I've really appreciated your time and your company. And well, Gary, who knows what comes next? These bald heads are being scratched an awful lot these days, Gary.
Oh, aye.
And no doubt we'll keep you all updated, folks.
Yeah, we'll keep you up to speed. And it's been a privilege to sit alongside you, Andy. Thank you. No doubt we'll chat again soon.
Folks, good evening. Signing off for now.
See you later. Bye-bye.